Should we call them mistakes? Because are they really mistakes, or are they just something that we don't love? I guess they're mistakes. I made massive mistakes. Woo! Good day.
In case you guys didn't know, our friend Chris Penn did a tour video for his YouTube channel called Teeny Home Tours.
You might have heard of it. Tiny little channel.
If you haven't seen it yet, it's right here.
But make sure you come back because we want to talk about a few things.
Absolutely.
First of all, we want to thank all of you that went and watched that video and then came over here and said hey and subscribed and checked out our videos, and now you're here watching. So thank you.
But in response to that video, we did want to bring a little bit of realistic stuff to the table, and that is that we made mistakes.
Yeah. There were a few people, and there always are in any of those tour videos, that like to make some comments.
They weren't so nice.
They weren't so nice. But we don't care because
nobody's perfect.
Because we don't. We
Yeah.
just, you can't film, you can't put yourselves out there and really care what everybody thinks, because there are people that are just grumpy.
But for those of you that came over here that maybe want to know a little bit more about Skoolie stuff, or for those of you that are on here that are mid-build, we really wanted to share with you our top 5 build mistakes.
At least 5.
The top 5.
Let's sit down and chat about how we started and why we're where we are. Okay, when we first built the bus, very long story short, my dad was really sick and we needed to get out of where we were and hit the road and get there as fast as we could. So there were things that we didn't finish. We didn't finish our ceiling, we didn't finish our floor, nothing was painted, the solar and wiring wasn't hooked up, we didn't have any power. We were very, very basic when we left.
We were primitive.
Yeah, pretty much. Some people call it minimalist.
Our lease was up, our stuff was in storage, we had to get out, the heat was coming to Arizona, we had no air conditioning. It was time for us to boogie.
Plus my dad. So,
mistake?
Number 1, the couch. We love the couch. We spend a lot of time on the couch. I work from the couch. While it's number 1, it's not my number 1 complaint. It's just small things. I would have made the couch a little bit deeper, and I would have made the angle on the back of it a little less steep so you could lean into it a little more. We thought of this when we first built it, but I left it that way because I wanted as much aisle room as possible. Plus it folds out to be a bed, which I thought we would use a lot more often for just hanging out and watching movies and not necessarily sleeping on it. I thought we would do that a lot more than we actually do.
We were also given advice when we were building not to make your couch too big. So we really kind of struggled with the dimensions on, how do we make it comfortable enough, but not so that it's taking up the whole bus. It's only a couple hundred square feet. So yeah. We followed that advice, and now we kind of regret making it small.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm not a tiny guy, so when I lay on it and want to get comfortable, it's a little bit skinny. 2 inches deeper would have been perfect. And the angle on the back isn't terrible, but with that 2 inches deeper, I probably would have added another inch to the base of that just to even out the angle a little bit. Not a big deal there. Next part on the couch, which also kind of ties into our kitchen counters as well. The couch, as you can see, is up against the windows. Now, there's good reason why we did what we did, but that doesn't make it any less inconvenient, dirty, and therefore sometimes embarrassing if we let it go too long. There's a gap in between the back of the couch and the window.
We were also following a piece of advice that you don't want to take any of your wood inside your bus and put it flush with the window, because the windows produce condensation in cold weather, and that condensation gets transferred to the wood and therefore can create a mold issue.
Or your bedding or your mattresses, so on and so forth. So we're really glad that we didn't do that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But
could have been a nightmare, but it's a different kind of nightmare now.
Right.
So let's show us what you mean.
Let's show you what we mean.
Yeah.
Here. So
as you can see, it's disgusting. It gets filled with fur and cat food and toys.
Yes. Let me, hang on, stop right there. The spot that we just showed you behind the couch is the worst. Behind the kitchen counters, it's not nearly that bad. Right here on the couch is where the cat comes up and her food's there. So her dirty, furry ass is always sitting there and bringing in dirt and sticks and...
yeah, pine needles.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a lizard yet because they like to hold onto her belly when they're hiding from her. So that's definitely the worst spot in the bus. Now, that being said, it's not super hard to clean up, but it's annoying. So when it's clean, it looks like this. When it's dirty, well, it looks like this. So something we would have changed or tried to work around. I don't know exactly how we would have done that because you still have to worry about the condensation issue.
Mistake number dos.
Not mistake, but something we just don't like.
Mistake number dos.
Should we call them mistakes? Because are they really mistakes or are they just something that we don't love? I guess they're mistakes. I made massive mistakes, is what she's saying by her lack of talking and absolute silence there. Is I made many mistakes.
Okay, next up. This. Can you see it? It's terrible. It's overlapping. It's gonna start chipping. That's not all. There's also gaps in between pieces. There are pieces that haven't been properly snapped together. And now, we've got this flap. So, needless to say, the flooring is a mess. To be completely honest, this is kind of halfway my fault. I was so eager to get the flooring in that I was putting pieces in and cutting them to the right size, but I wasn't using enough force to snap them back together. So they wiggled loose, they moved around, but the flooring also just kind of sucks. We had done so much research and we had read everywhere that vinyl planks will expand and contract with cold and heat. So we decided to do a floating floor, which means all of the flooring is cut in around, you know, the couch and the kitchen. And the only thing that's really done is just give it more room and ways to shift. It's a good product, it's just not the best way to put it in. Had we to do it all over again, I really think that we would have used the same flooring, but I think we would have used some sort of a glue or silicone to make sure that the pieces stayed in place rather than shift. I also would have, you know, drug Jesse from his good paying job to help me. This piece is cut like this because originally we didn't have the wood stove, so we had to yank out flooring that was here before, and we just haven't really ever fixed and put it back in. That is what rugs are for. We do eventually want to yank this all out and redo it with glue or silicone, like I said, but it's gonna cost money. And in all actuality, it's gonna cost more to do it a second time than if we had just done a floor wall to wall, front to back first. And it's like number 97 on the list of things to do. Bless life. Moving on from another piece of the flooring that's falling apart to a pie. When we left, we also didn't know what refrigerator we were going to have. We weren't sure if we were going to do propane or apartment.
Miss, what? We're trying to talk. What? Cough it up already. Thank you for being such a good dog as always. Before you were so rudely interrupted.
She's not done. She's not done. What are you doing? Mama, what are you doing with your legs?
Bonbon, you weren't even around when we built the bus.
Give me the attention. Give me the attention.
as you were saying.
So when we left, we didn't have a solid fridge plan. We had built the fridge box to the maximum size of any fridge that we could possibly consider, but we weren't sure if we were going to do apartment fridge or a propane fridge. So here we have this huge box, and we finally settled in on apartment fridge. 7.3 something cubic feet. It runs great. It runs 100% on solar. Actually very happy with this cheap Magic Chef apartment fridge. But the mess that is the box and up here, ugh, I can't wait to redo this. One of the downsides of this is that the fridge is very low. Jesse's tall, so he has to get on his knees to get to the vegetable drawer. And what we're hoping to do is we are hoping to build a box on the bottom, lift the entire fridge up as high as it can go, and put all of this ridiculous storage down there in a drawer.
I think that that is an absolutely wonderful idea because I cannot stand all of this in the background. It drives me crazy, whether we're talking to you guys or whether I'm just walking down the hallway.
And I can't even reach half of what's up there.
She loses everything up there. She buys stuff that we have like 3 of. There's like 2 or 3 packages of tostada shells because she can't see them. So yeah, that's a huge one. Haven't liked it since the day I built it. Haven't liked the fridge box since the day I built it. Absolutely hated it. Can't stand it. Wish it never would have been done that way. I imagine it 1,000 different ways all the time.
If you're in a build or you're planning a build or it's just in the back of your mind, just consider that if you're going with a smaller fridge, build it up a little bit higher instead of on the ground.
For sure. No complaints on the fridge size. The apartment size fridge has been amazing. It holds everything we need to. Now granted, we Tetris some stuff in there sometimes, but works great. Gets enough airflow. Never have issues with it. Better yet, it's not propane fueled at all, so we don't ever have to worry about it burning down our bus.
True story.
It's like 80% of RV fires are caused by the refrigerator.
Yeah, if it's not level,
they have problems.
Big problems.
So, that's that one. Should we talk about your kitchen? We IKEA hacked our kitchen, which highly recommend it. It's amazing. I'm not a cabinet builder. They are cheap and easy to put together and they look great.
And they've been incredibly durable.
Yes, very much so. 3 years, going strong, still love them, wouldn't change it. Happy we did. Now, one part that we don't absolutely love about our IKEA hacked kitchen is the counters. They're butcher block countertop. They're incredible. We do love them.
But we chose the method of using wax and oil to condition the countertops. If we had it to do all over again, we definitely would have sanded and permanently sealed them.
We wouldn't even have had to sand them when we pulled them out of the package when we first got them. Super cheap, super durable, great from IKEA. But we did try to treat them like original butcher block and where you just, you know, let them wear in and keep them conditioned so that they don't have issues, which they don't.
It's just quite the chore.
It is.
Once a month, move everything off of the countertops and then oil them.
If not more often when you're, you know, in hot climates, hot dry climates, things like that, they dry out a lot faster and they get dirtier because they're not sealed.
They do get dirty. And
like getting them clean, completely clean is almost impossible. Like they just get dust and dirt on them, especially if we're driving and the windows are open.
So needless to say, you're not really using them like a cutting board because they're not really in a sanitary environment.
So that is something that we would change. That is something in the future we probably will change. We'll probably sand them down one of these days and go ahead and seal them off. We love them. We love the natural wood and the natural feel and the natural look, but they're a pain.
So beware. Make sure that your countertops are perfectly sealed.
But IKEA countertops, $100. Oh yeah.
So right here we have little watermarks from me just now doing the dishes. Up here we've got stains that are just permanent. I don't know where they came from.
Oh, and the favorite one from Blake. Where's that one?
Ah, that one is right here. That would be from pineapple juice. Who knew?
Lily's nephew, Blake, thought, you know, butcher block, so you use it as, you know, a cutting board, which we originally thought was a great idea. Not so much. What do you care? Side note, how do you guys like my AC duct from outside? It's connected to a window AC unit that's down that way. Cardboard custom.
Free.
So Jesse, why are you guys sitting down in the stairwell? Well, because we like to hang out here. No. to, because it's another area that we're not exactly fond of. Now, granted, this area really only gets used for a couple of things. When we're driving, obviously it's the driving area. There's a seat here that Jonah's car seat sits in and Lily rides in, and then obviously I drive. There's, you know, regular cockpit stuff, steering wheels, shifting console, heater controls that don't work, etc. When we're parked, it's this lady's area. She camps out up here, she sits there all the time, she likes her phone plugged in up front, and she has, well, a congregation of plant friends.
True story.
This is another area that we hurried up and left and didn't really do much with. It was, you know, it's just gonna be for our first trip and then we'll tear into it and we'll get this all finished up. Well, we found out that we really like traveling more than we do working on stuff, so it hasn't gotten finished. The cockpit area with everything over there that's been disconnected and my whole control center while driving, I can't stand it. I would absolutely love to rebuild the entire thing. We tore our original heater out, our defrost heater out, because one, it was super loud, you couldn't even think over it, pretty sure it was broken. Two, it didn't work.
It smelled really bad.
It smelled and it barely pumped out any heat. So we yanked the whole damn thing out and put in this here storage box. So it's just made out of, you know, white coated aluminum that was just meant to be for the first trip. It's great, there's storage in here, you can stuff shoes in there and stuff, and then it just covered up the framing and everything that was there from before. Since then, we have installed our diesel heater in it, which works great and it was a good location. That works as our defroster, and that works as some supplemental heat when it's not cold enough to fire up the wood stove, but you still want some warmth.
The box overall, in general, although it's built nicely, it's kind of a waste of space.
And it's ugly.
And it's ugly.
I mean, when it was all nice and new and pretty and white, it was okay. Now it's just kind of ugly. So you have to walk through a bit of an eyesore just to get into our home. So those of you that commented on Chris's video that said, oh, that bus is an eyesore. Well,
There's
you're right.
reasons. Yeah.
But you're probably an eyesore too.
Inappropriate.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I forgot. We're in the snowflake generation. You can't upset people. My bad.
Double inappropriate.
What?
Are you done?
I feel like you're judging me.
I am.
God is against that. Thee shall not be judged.
Are you done?
Yeah. So if you did watch that video, and that's why you're here, or if you have paused our video and gone and watched the tour video and now you're back here, our original wiring, here I'll show a quick clip of it, was a spaghetti mess.
It was terrible, disgraceful, so embarrassing to have the world see. It has definitely changed.
Yeah, tiny little bit of backstory there. Once again, we were in a hurry. Our friend Billy flew in to help us finish it real quick because we didn't know anything about solar. So he flew in to help us out real fast before we went to the second Skoolie Palooza. And we just got everything all wired up and planned on cleaning it up later. Which we kind of did, but not in that tour. And since then, it's all been replaced. So now, it looks like this. If you haven't seen that whole fiasco of why we replaced it and what it is now, here's that video right there. Go check it out because, well, it's a learning experience and we spent plenty of money learning.
That's the thing. It's right up there on the mistakes because it was such a mess. We're not electricians, but it could have been cleaned up regardless of being an electrician or not. We could have made it look nicer. I think the biggest mistake to be taken from that though is all of that happened because we were just trying to pinch a few pennies on our inverter charger. Had we gone with the upgraded version and
Victron for the win
and just done it right to begin with, we probably would have saved ourselves thousands of dollars in replacing it over the long haul.
Luckily, our Ames inverter that died on us didn't catch on fire like it has other people's and tried to burn down their whole bus.
So when you're trying to skimp on dollars, you know, do it with your sink. You know, do it with your cushions.
Do it with the plywood you buy.
Do it with the plywood, but don't do it with electrical or plumbing.
Just
terrible idea. Just cough it up and do it right.
You get what you pay for, do it right.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and on top of that, that was another thing that we didn't have finished or even hooked up when we left. So the wire chase for the solar, I can't stand. I would have built around it. It drives me nuts. I constantly try to cover it up with the curtains and then somebody comes along and opens them back up again. It makes me want to vomit. I hate it. hate it so much. That's why I sit with my back to it most of the time. So that's it. That's definitely not everything that we don't like about our bus, but that's the main stuff.
That's the big stuff. If you're here from Chris's video on tiny home tours, if you're here from Chris's video on tiny home tours, stay tuned because we are going to do another video of 7 of our favorite things that we did and the things that have changed since that tour.
Not just them. I mean, even if you're here already or just coming or ran across our channel, please stay.
Yeah.
Please, if you liked anything in it, any little tiny, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe because you wouldn't believe how many people watch that aren't subscribed. It's so easy and it really is the best way that you can help support us. And you know, the pennies that we make there, well, we can put it into making the bus better so that you don't think it's a piece of If you want some good entertainment, go over to Chris's channel. I'll put a link up here to Tiny Home Tours and read the comments in our video and some of the other videos. Endless entertainment. So now I gotta pick 7 things that we do like. She got very specific about the 7 things.
I did.
What if it's 10?
It might be 10.
Well, we can't do 10. We'll have to leave 3 out. Sorry.
Top 7?
What if it's only 6?
Hey, I said it. It's a thing now.
Yeah. Well, happy wife, happy life, right? So coming up soon, 7 things we absolutely love about our bus. Stay tuned. Thanks. Have a great day. We love you all. Don't drop the camera in your face, that would hurt. Like this?
Sure.
Cannon! Makeup. That tastes gross.
My tongue's not that long.
It tastes yucky. Good day, everyone. Not sure if you can hear me very well, but that's because there's a hail and rainstorm going on outside right now. Hello, everyone, and good day. We were planning on filming today, but it's raining, and I don't know how loud that is. So maybe there will be a video film today, maybe there won't be a video film today, but we were gonna talk to you about
our top 5 build mistakes. The things that we wish we could do over or change, or maybe the things that we'll end up ripping up and doing all over again.
Yes, 5 rookie build mistakes. Does anybody spot the little dude? Very cute.
Last queen say.
Get him what you want to.
She got my head.
Get him what you want to. Okay, now give her kisses. Make sure she knows you're okay. Gentle. Gentle.